the janitor who became a university lecturer. In a small, bustling city nestled between rolling hills and a winding river, there lived a man named Samuel Carter. Most people knew him simply as Sam, the night janitor at Westwood University. By day, the campus teemed with students hurrying to class, professors discussing theories in sunlit corridors, and laughter echoing from the cafeteria. By night, it was Sam who quietly swept those same hallways, emptying bins, mopping floors, and ensuring that by morning, the university shimmered anew. Sam was a man of few words, his back slightly stooped from years of labor, his eyes kind but often a touch distant. Many students barely noticed him, their minds preoccupied with exams, assignments, and the dramas of youth. Professors would offer a polite nod, but rarely did anyone stop to exchange more than a greeting. But beneath Sam's humble uniform and worn-out shoes lay a story no one suspected, a story of resilience, hope, and the unyielding pursuit of dreams. Sam's journey began far from the university's marbled halls. Born in a small rural town, he was the eldest of 4 siblings. His father, a factory worker, passed away when Sam was just 13, leaving his mother to care for the family. Money was always tight. To help, Sam took on odd jobs after school, delivering newspapers, cleaning barns, and, eventually, working the night shift at a local warehouse. He was a bright student, fascinated by literature and history, and he dreamed of being a teacher. But when his mother fell ill, Sam set aside his aspirations, working double shifts to support his family. Years passed. His siblings grew up and moved away, forging their own paths. By then, Sam was in his 30s. The years of toil were etched into his hands and the lines on his face. But the longing to learn, to teach, and to inspire never faded. One autumn evening, after finishing his shift at Westwood University, Sam lingered in the campus library. The cleaning crew had finished early, and the vast, silent room called to him like a sanctuary. He ran his fingers over the spines of books on history, philosophy, and literature, the worlds he'd always loved. That night, he pulled a battered notebook from his pocket and began to read. For months, he'd been teaching himself from discarded textbooks he found in the university's recycling bins. He scribbled notes, wrote essays for no one to read, and challenged himself with practice exams. For Sam, learning was not a means to an end, but a source of quiet joy. One evening, as Sam was dusting shelves in a lecture hall, he overheard a heated debate between 2 students about a historical event. Unable to resist, he offered a gentle correction. The students were surprised, but Sam's explanation was clear, insightful, and delivered with humility. They asked him questions, and he answered with patience and depth, revealing a well of knowledge they never suspected. Word spread. Students began to seek him out after hours, asking for help with assignments or clarification on complex topics. Sam always obliged, never charging, never making a fuss. He became a quiet mentor to many, his wisdom lighting the way for those who struggled. One night, Professor Eleanor Monroe, a respected member of the history department, encountered Sam as he was tidying her classroom. She'd heard whispers of the janitor who knew everything, and curiosity got the better of her. She struck up a conversation, expecting polite small talk. Instead, she found herself engaged in a rich discussion about the causes of the French Revolution. Sam's insights were sharp, thoughtful, and underpinned by a deep understanding of human nature. Impressed, Professor Monroe invited Sam to audit her classes when his shifts allowed. At first, Sam hesitated, feeling out of place among the young students, but she insisted. With her encouragement, Sam began attending lectures, sitting quietly in the back, taking copious notes. He excelled in class discussions, often raising points that sparked new debates and deeper understanding. Realizing Sam's potential, Professor Monroe and a handful of faculty members pooled resources to help him enroll as a part-time student. Sam was reluctant to accept charity, but they insisted it was an investment in someone who had already given so much to the university community. Balancing work and study was grueling. Sam would finish his janitorial duties in the early hours, catch a few hours of sleep, and then immerse himself in coursework. His grades soared. He wrote papers that moved professors to tears and gave presentations that left classmates in awe. His humility never wavered. He always credited his fellow students, the professors, and the university itself for giving him a chance. Years passed, and Sam graduated with honors. He was older than most of his peers, his hair now flecked with silver, but his heart was as full of wonder as the day he first wandered the library's aisles. After graduation, Professor Monroe offered him a position as a teaching assistant, and soon after, as a lecturer. Standing at the front of the classroom for the first time, Sam looked out at the sea of faces, young, eager, and full of potential. He saw himself in them, the curious child, the struggling worker, the dreamer who never gave up. He began his lecture not with grand words, but with a simple story, his own. He spoke of the obstacles he'd faced, the sacrifices he'd made, and the unwavering belief that learning was a light in the darkness. The students listened, rapt. For many, it was the first time they saw a teacher as more than an authority figure, but as a fellow traveler on the road of life. Sam's classes became renowned for their warmth, wisdom, and the sense of possibility they inspired. He challenged students to look beyond the surface, to see the janitors, the cooks, the groundskeepers, as people with stories, dreams, and potential. Sam's journey became a legend at Westwood University. New students would hear whispers of the janitor-turned-lecturer, inspiring them to approach their own studies with humility and gratitude. Faculty members, too, were reminded of the power of kindness and the importance of nurturing talent wherever it was found. Years later, when Sam retired, the university held a ceremony in his honor. Students, past and present, filled the auditorium, sharing stories of how his words had changed their lives. Many spoke of how, in moments of doubt, Sam's example had given them the strength to persist. In his farewell speech, Sam shared a final lesson. "We are not defined by the uniforms we wear or the titles we hold," he said. "We are defined by our actions, our compassion, and our willingness to learn. Every person you meet has a story worth hearing, and every dream is worth pursuing, no matter how distant it may seem." As the applause thundered, Sam looked out at the crowd, his eyes shining with gratitude. He had swept the university's floors, but in doing so, he had also swept away the barriers between people, showing that greatness can be found in the most unexpected places, and that true success is measured not by status, but by the lives we touch. The story of Samuel Carter endures, not because of the accolades he received, but because of the lesson he embodied, that with humility, perseverance, and kindness, anyone can rise above their circumstances and inspire others to do the same. In every corner of Westwood University, his spirit lingers, a quiet reminder that the pursuit of knowledge, and the courage to chase a dream, can illuminate even the darkest halls.